Hello, we are live. So happy today. So happy you can join me. Day 6. What? We made it. We made it. We made it. Today is day 6. Um, so I know that I usually go about letting everyone know. Um, let's see. Give me a second here. There we go. Finally. So excited, you guys. I had to let you know that I was coming over here. So now we are at day 6. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are now on day 6. We have made it to day 6, which is our elevated consciousness. It's the highest day. It is the last day. It's the most important day. We've all been waiting for this day. Number one, because um, going through the 6th day of elevated consciousness has been a long entire process. I am not going to lie. Like, it has been very, very intense. But if you've been taking the time to do what you need to do, then you know that this was well needed. Like, it was needed for your spirit and for your soul, for everything that resonates with you, for everything that resonates with you. So I'm so excited to talk to you about day 6, because day 6 represents the elevated consciousness, the highest form that we naturally have. After we made the transitions, after we made the shifts, after we did the healing, um, aw, is it giving you an error? I'm so sorry. So I'll be able to take a look at it here in just a second, but everything should be updated. So I'll take a look and see what's going on. Everything, I'm not quite sure what is going on, but I'll go and check on it and see what's going on. But if you don't know, my website is completely live. It is updated and it is like 100% ready to go. I will check to make sure. So now let's check on a few things. Number one, we are on our 6th day of elevated consciousness. So with the 6th day of elevated consciousness, we are literally working on, we've actually done everything that we needed to do. On this day, we have completed day 1, which was reframing the blockages. Day 2, which was opening the blockages through the guided meditation. Day 3, which was becoming the Neo, knowing that you are the first altar, knowing that you have to activate your first altar, which is you, yourself, before you can activate any other altar, before you can talk to any other guides, spirits, anything, you have to activate you. Then we get on to day 4, which is communing with the triggers. If you've had triggers in the past where you realize that you have been connected to toxic situations and then you continue to be in those situations, you might have triggers. And the triggers are, the reason why you know you have triggers is because you'll constantly keep putting yourself in those same situations. Though it might be different people, though you might not be connected to the same people, like they might be different faces, but it's the same energy all when you talk about day 5, okay, day 4, excuse me. Day 5 was becoming the system and not using the system to cripple you. Learning to know that the systems, like a lot of the spiritual systems, whether you do magic, with any form of anything, meditation, that they are there to help assist you on your journey, but they are not there to cripple you or help you get confused or lost. So understanding that a lot of principles that come from ancient Kemet, magistics usually use magic or magical systems to, number one, help shift the dynamics of their personal life, to help shift the dynamics of other people's life, and also just to see their power, really mostly to see where they are with their power, not really to use to abuse it or keep using it as an abuse system. So you want to make sure that if you are using spiritual systems to elevate your life or change your life, change your consciousness, change your way you're thinking. A lot of people use Reiki. A lot of people use crystal healing energy. Those are systems because they can still shift and form and change your reality. If you're using these systems, you want to make sure that you are very well known and doused into that type of area. Not only just like you know what you're doing, but you want to make sure that you're not abusing the system, where it's something that you constantly use over and over and over and over for personal gain. Okay, you want to make sure that it's usually for the help of yourself and the help of others. Day 6, we are at elevated consciousness. Cannot believe we're at day 6. What? Say what? Okay, So with day 6, we are meeting your higher self. You're meeting your higher self in a different realm. So what it is basically, sorry, as I take a drink of water. Okay, so let me get comfortable here. Really comfortable. These pants are so freaking huge, but I'm gonna get comfortable and pull them down because they're too tight. Okay, so couple of things here. As we realize, day 6 is about meeting yourself in a higher dimension. You are now getting ready to form your reality. And not the fact that you've already done that, but it's mostly like knowing that you are a powerful being outside of yourself. That you don't have to. It's basically like looking at yourself from a higher standpoint. So if you were standing outside of your body, and if you were looking at what you were doing, basically you would begin to shift your reality, or just observe. You become the observer at that point, where you just begin to look at yourself to see. What is it that you're observing about you? What is it that you're observing about the past, the present, or the future? So I want to make sure that I have you on this part. I don't want to lose you. When you're as you're on the 6th day of elevated consciousness, literally you should be able to step outside of yourself, out of your body, and look at yourself from a different perspective to observe who you are at that moment, to observe what it is that you need to change about your life, to observe how you need to go about changing certain things in your life. You are strictly just the observer at this point. Once you transition to this becomes your life, and this is how you stay elevated throughout the entire game of life, is because you are able to look at yourself outside of yourself and observe, not really become you don't want to become the system, the energy. Remember, we talked about that yesterday, day 5. You don't want to become the energy. You want to observe the energy around you. Observe all that you are, and observe that all that is around you. That goes back to knowing that you cannot be destroyed, knowing that nothing that you do or anything that anyone else can do can affect you, because you cannot be destroyed, nor can negativity be sent your way, because you are now looking from the observer's standpoint. So when we talk about the observer standpoint, if it makes it easier for some people, this is what we talk about with the 5D dimension, or the 5D perceptive. I can't even talk. Perceptive. Okay, so when we're talking about perceptive, we're talking about 5D. 5D consciousness is when you're able to just observe and look at certain things. You're not actually in. It's like you see the video game happening, you're observing what is going on in the video game. You're not really playing. You're not choosing to be a player in the game, and you're choosing to basically just observe. So that is going back to the 0 point, or going back to the point where the vortex, the middle. This is so crazy, because I was going to go live. I'm going to go live on Instagram here after this to talk about what the download that I got about a lot that is going on spiritually. So I want to let you guys know that today is the 13th, but the Lionsgate was scheduled to close yesterday on the 12th. But I want to let you know that the Lionsgate portal is still open as of today. It is still open, and that's the download that I got from my guides, for my spirits. That's not to say. It literally, Spirit was coming in and saying, who am I as a human being to say when the gate closes and when it opens? And yesterday I said the portal was closed, because a lot of people, a lot of spiritualists, a lot of people that study the Lionsgate portal says that it was expected to close yesterday. When I connected with my higher self, my higher beings, and all that is within me, the Lionsgate portal is very much open. It's very much open, and there's still time for healing. So this is going to be the day that you need to get outside, and you need to connect with the sun. You need to meditate, and also get a lot of rest today. So that's what I'll be doing, besides the fact that I have a couple of obligations later on, but I'll be resting for the most part of the day. You need to rest, because your system is going through a series of upgrades, and it has to be able to connect with these, because over these next few weeks there will be major transitionings, not only for yourself but for your families. So you need to make sure that you're prepared and you're ready for these transitions. So for day 6, and when I talked about meeting your higher self, literally, once you did day 2, you met your higher self. You saw your higher self. You began to embrace your higher self and become your higher self. Now you want to stand from the standpoint where you're looking down at yourself from a higher self perspective, and you see who you are, and you are observing all of the energy, all of the past trauma that you went through, all of the things that actually help shape and shift your reality right now at the current moment. If you're going through anything that you're struggling or worried or concerned about, this is going to be the time of the moment that you are looking at an observer perspective, and you're just observing nature. You're observing what's around you. You no longer become active into a game or active into the way your role is playing out. You observe. Now, this takes a strong level of discipline. This is not something that normally happens. With most people, they get on the 3rd D or the 3D, the 3rd density level. Then they move to the 4th density level, which I talked about, is when you realize that you can shape or shift your reality through systems or magic. And then you go into the 5th D, and the 5th D consciousness is way more elevated. When I tell you it takes a strong level of discipline to look at yourself as the observer, because you now take the position that everything is now responding to you. Everything is responding to your energy. Everything is responding to you. You are here as a vessel, and everything is responding to you. You become the observer. You don't really know how to put things into action. You don't really know how to change the outcome, because that's the standpoint of the observer, where you begin to look and see what your reality is, and see why are you attracting the same experiences over and over and over, because as the observer, you realize that everything is responding to you. So, when you were younger, when you were like in high school, and then you talked about like projects with stimuli and stimulus. Well, things attract to the stimuli, because literally at that point, everything was attracting to the middle or the center of the point. So that's when you become at the elevated consciousness, you become the center point, and you realize that now everything attracts to you. And you can choose to repel, or you can choose to bring things forth, whatever it is. But when you take this position, you take the position of control. And you realize that nothing and no one, nothing can happen to you. You are a divine being. You realize that everything that is responding to you just simply responds. And you can choose to respond back or not. That is choose now. When you choose to respond back, that means you're choosing now to go back to day 5, the systems. That means you want to be a part of something as elevated consciousness, but not at its highest degree. So when you choose that, everything responds to you, and it's nothing that it's basically where you have total control of your life. You realize that you have so much control over your life that you can literally shift things with your thoughts. Literally. You can levitate. And I know this from my personal experience, because it has happened to me where I have actually levitated. I kid you not. This is not some spookism. This is not something that I'm trying to convince you for you to know that it is possible. But once you become the observer and you stand in that truth, you literally can levitate. And it takes a series of detoxes and a lot of other things that happens before you can do that. But it's a position from day 6 is knowing that nothing can destroy you, basically. Nothing can break you down. Nothing can destroy you. So all of those old attachments that you once had within the past relationships, all of those ideas that actually tried to shift and form your reality to tell you were this person that you were not, those are all the things that did not last. And literally that was something that lets you know that you cannot be destroyed, because it doesn't exist when you enter into that 6th higher elevated consciousness, the higher dimension. So the biggest thing about this is just knowing that there is a difference between spiritualism and spiritual systems, and then when you begin to elevate your consciousness into a way that you can shift your reality, you can move certain things in your vortex. Now the vortex is the center point. It is the 0 point. So when you get to the 0 point, you realize that you are the infinite source. You go on and on. Some people references as the black dot because it's infinite. It goes on and it's forever. So this is where you get the connection with Hindu cultures, and you're looking at like mantra, or not really mantras, but yantras, and they have a black dot in the center of that. That is the point of elevated consciousness. That's a higher level of thinking. That's when you begin to step outside of yourself, out of the box, and look at yourself as an observer. See what is going on around you, and then see how you are beginning to attract or pull in, or all of those energies are attracting or pulling into you. So I really hope this helps on day 6, because day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, all of these were transitioning points to get you here to this day. So right now, today, we're on day 6. You should be in elevated consciousness. You should be able to look to observe, not only just observing what's around you. You need to go out and connect and observe with nature. See what things in nature respond to you, pull towards you. Like this morning, for me, I had a lot of caterpillars. I can't talk. What is going on? I had a lot of caterpillars. What happens is that I try to get so much information out at one time that it just keeps going and keeps going. And yeah, it happens as you're intuitive and you downloads. And when the downloads come, you just want to make sure you say everything. So I don't want to make sure I miss anything. But I had a lot of caterpillars come towards me, and they were just being drawn towards me. It was a ton of them, babies, some that were fully growing, some that had their fur. It was a lot of them. So that means that I was a stimuli at that point, and things were being pulled towards me. And this talked about the rebirthing and the regrouping and the reforming process, which we went over in day 1, which was reforming blockages. So don't be shocked if you have to revisit or go back to day 1 just to get familiarized or get acquainted with day 6, because it happens. At this time, I want to tell you, many people that study tell you that the Lionsgate portal is shut down and it's closed. I don't believe that. That's because I've connected with my own spiritual self, and I've been able to step outside as an observer to see what is going on. And it's nothing in nature that tells me that it's shut down quite yet. I do believe this is the last day as the 13th, as day 6. I do believe that today will be the last day for that. So it's going to be very important to shift your energy. I'm going to be heading over to my Instagram channel to talk a lot about the Lionsgate portal and to talk about the message that I got today directly from Spirit. Delivering a very sacred message. It was very sacred. It's very sacred. And I wasn't going to share this message, but I think it's going to be very, very important, because I think it has a lot to do with transitioning and why you see so many people shifting and pulling apart from each other. Everyone's forming different groups. Everyone's getting in different things. Different people are pulling away from different people, and I think I know why. Because a lot is going on, and Spirit has a message, a deep, deep message for you all. I would love to share it with my entire YouTube channel and YouTube family, but I will be sharing this on my Instagram Live, as I think it will just be better to share it there. I love sharing it with you guys too, and I don't mind. So if you want to connect with this message, please join me on my Instagram channel, which is at Align with Ariana. Also, I have my website that is open. I have my anklets that are here and available and blessed, consecrated, and ready to go. They are prosperity anklets, and they are used, usually you keep jewelry, certain jewelry, to help keep the flow of money, wealth, and abundance connected to you. And I have that on my website. It is available. So you can go check that out, as well as the candles, Align with Ariana, the Align candle, which is help you to connect with your higher self and help you to connect with the elevated consciousness part of you as the observer. It's not meant for anything else. A lot of time with white. White is a natural attraction, but it is also a natural repellent, and it removes negativity as well naturally. So that is actually on the website as well. So I do have a limited amount. You guys can all go check that out. You already know. Visit www.alignwithariana.com. So I'll see you over my Instagram channel. Peace, love, wado.